friends. I'm George Taylor from ImagineNerding.com and Communicore Weekly, you know, the greatest online show. And welcome to the episode all about the roller coasters of Carowinds. The Carowinds Amusement Park is located in between Charlotte, North Carolina and Fort Mill, South Carolina. And it's actually the only theme park to straddle two different states. So yes, you actually do pay different taxes depending on where you buy your food or park souvenirs. But we're here to actually talk about the roller coasters of Carowinds. And Carowinds may not be the first park that you think of with roller coasters. Usually that goes to Six Flags Magic Mountain or Cedar Point up in Sandusky, Ohio. But Carowinds does have 13 roller coasters with quite a handful that are not to be missed. So we're going to take a look at the coasters chronologically. So when they opened, so starting with the very first one in 1973, the Carolina Gold Rusher. So this coaster opened on March 31st, 1973. It was built by Aerodynamics, you know, the company that sort of helped Walt Disney build the Matterhorn Mountain at Disneyland, and almost every other mine train coaster from the 1960s and the 1970s. The ride lasts for about 2 minutes and 17 seconds with a top speed of 30 miles per hour. And the height of the lift hill is 43 feet. And it's actually one of 3 original rides still operating in the park today. The next coaster is the Woodstock Express, which is located in the Planet Snoopy area. And even though that is the area for kids, roller coaster enthusiasts definitely need to check this one out. This wonderful wooden roller coaster opened in 1975 and was originally known as the Scooby-Doo. Then it was called Scooby-Doo's Ghoster Coaster, and then the Fairly Odd Coaster before becoming the Woodstock Express. It is a Philadelphia Toboggan Company coaster, and it was designed by John Allen, who also designed the Racer at Kings Island. And this is one of my favorite roller coasters because it's so much fun. I will say though, for grown-ups, you need to get a seat all to yourself. Built in 1980, the Carolina Cyclone is another Aerodynamics coaster. And usually when you mention Aerodynamics and coaster, you'll get like it's an aero looper. So this was the first coaster to feature 4 inversions. The ride is 1 minute and 30 with a 95-foot lift hill and a top speed of 41 miles per hour. There are a few great viewing spots for this coaster, but it is pretty painful like most aero loopers. And a little word of advice for all of you Imagine nerds out there: when you do, try to sit in the front of the car. Each car seats 4 people, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Sit in the front section so you'll have some leg room. Otherwise, you will get some cramps. So the Vortex was the first coaster built in more than 12 years at Carowinds. It debuted in 1992, and it's a stand-up steel coaster in the Carolina Showplace section. It's a Bollinger and Mabillard, and they do make my favorite coasters. But this one, not so much. It is a 2 minute and 19 second ride, and it hits 50 miles per hour. It does have a vertical loop and corkscrew, but it can be pretty painful because of the stand-up position that you take with the Vortex. You really need to get the seat right before you ride this one. And it was the 3rd B&M coaster ever built. In the thrill zone, we get the Hurler, which not a lot of people know. Of course, when the Hurler opened, that part of Carowinds, which was then owned by Paramount, was themed to Wayne's World. So it made sense to have a wooden coaster and name it the Hurler. This coaster was built in 1994 by International Coasters, Inc. And it's the exact same coaster as the one at King's Dominion, except the one at King's Dominion has had some retracking. It's a 2 minute ride and has a height of 83 feet and hits 50 miles per hour. There's not a lot of airtime with this coaster, and it is pretty bumpy, especially for an older wooden coaster. Another roller coaster that's located in the Planet Snoopy area is Lucy's Crabbie Cabbie. I always often have to think about that one before I say it right. It's a steel junior coaster that was built in 1998. It's a very short ride that hits about 15 miles an hour. And the ride only holds 12 riders per train, and they do frequently cycle the ride twice. The final airtime bumps right before the station can be quite painful for adults. It's a great first coaster, and you can see the whole ride. And this one used to be called Hey Arnold's Taxi Chase. Afterburn debuted in 1999 in the county fair section of the park. And it's the second B&M coaster for Carowinds. It's an inverted steel coaster that was originally called Top Gun, the jet coaster, for when it was owned by Paramount. The ride lasts for 2 minutes and 47 seconds and hits 62 miles per hour. It is a wonderful inverted coaster that's not quite as powerful as like Alpengeist that you might find at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. And I also like the fact that when it debuted, if you entered through the south entrance of Carowinds, you could actually walk underneath and through the ride. Ricochet is the third coaster in the Carolina Boardwalk area. It opened in 2002, and it's considered a steel mouse coaster. It was built by Mack, who pretty much invented the modern mouse coaster. It reaches a top speed of 28 miles per